Well, you guys know the drill of me thanking people for their comments on my last video. It was Quick Tip Thursday, and I do want to remind you about the giveaway that I gave to Mitzi for commenting on my faux tattoo. I'm not sure if I will ever announce a giveaway. I'm just going to do surprise ones here and there. So congratulations to Mitzi again for noticing my faux tattoo. So in today's video, we are going to make some of these pocket tags for my tall French journal. I will make sure that I link Medieval Mirage's kit. I will link both of the gold paints I use, and I will link Rachel from Roxy Creations, her kit, and let's get started on making these tags. Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner. So if you recall, in my last video, I had put together this tall document style journal, but now it's time to start decorating it and making tags. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to make tags. Now, this journal cover is not done. I still need to put in some kind of a tie. I will probably put some holes in here and put some eyelets there. And then I also need to finish this up, but this will be where a pocket goes, and this will be a pocket here. But let's get started in making tags today, and let me show you my favorite way to do tags. Now the tag has a pocket, and I showed you recently coloring these feathers, and I love putting them in a journal, but they need a little pocket to go in. And like I said, for this journal, I am mainly using Medieval Mirage's French Rococo Rhapsody, Marie Antoinette, and Ladies in Waiting, and also Rachel from Roxy Creations, her French Chateau kit. So let's start by cutting these out, and I'm going to do that real quick. I do want you to know that I printed this on heavier Epson paper. I think it is 48-pound paper, and I did go ahead and print on the back. The reason is we're going to have a bunch of layers here, and I don't want these tags to be that thick. So let me go and cut these out, and I'll be right back. So they're all cut out. The next thing you need is a contrasting paper to go with them. And now I've printed this on my hammer mill paper, which is thinner than this. So I think though that would go good with this tag. This is a scrap, and I think that would go good with that one. And then with this one, I think something from here would go good. So let me show you what I do to start out with. So you're going to want a pocket to go from here to about there. And so what I do is I take a pencil and I lay my paper there, and I bring it up to about where I want that tear line to be. And actually, I think I want more of the floral. So I'm going to have it go this way. So I've marked off here the length of my tag. And so I'm just going to do a rough tear across. And because I don't want this white to show, and this is the part I'm going to use, I tear the paper away from me. So that's a scrap. So that's the bottom. And then it needs to go to about here. And it will start up here. Now, one thing you could do is fold it as a diagonal, if that would help you out. And so now I know that it needs to be torn from here to there. And I could have come a little bit closer, but this is basically just a guideline. So I'm going to come up here toward this corner here, and I'm going to just start tearing it. Heading down toward that area where I marked off. And then I take a look at it and see what it looks like. Now, I want to see a little bit more of this background and less of this. So I'm going to even come in here a little bit closer and tear off a little bit more. And I like that a lot better. And so then now I need to take a little bit of this off. And I think that looks really good there. Now, to make this pocket stand out, you're going to want to ink it. And that will really help it stand out. Do you see how that helped that right there? And so that's perfect for that one. So let's set this one aside and bring in our other papers, and I'll show you again how I do it. And I'm just going to put this over in my scrap bin. Okay, this is our next one. And I think that's pretty good. Let's have it come this way. And so this is the right side up of the flower. So I'm not sure. The thing of it is, if I do it this way and tear it down, the flower looks upside down to me. I might instead use that and put one of these images on there. Let's try that. Let's try that instead. So now I'm going to mark where I need to tear it. So to about there. And then I'm going to, again, fold it to that corner. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room. And then I can always erase this. And so that's where I need it to tear. but I want to make sure I have enough room for this image. So I need to bring it over just a little bit more. So I'm going to start tearing, and because I don't want the white part to show, I have to tear it away from myself, and I just bring it along at an angle. So I have to tell you what happened the other day, and I'll insert a picture of what my little girl did, Fiona. Oh my heavens. So she has been so good, and I've been letting her kind of roam the house at night and sleep wherever she wants, and you know, but the other night, oh, the little stinker, she got my ornament tree, my travel tree, and pulled off an ornament. Now, thank goodness it was an ornament that is easily to be replaced. And it was an ornament from Alaska, and it was wooden. And I had noticed when I went outside that there was all this wood around, and then I found the big piece with Alaska written across it, and she had taken it off the tree and chewed it up. And I was not happy at all. And then the other thing she did is let's see, again, I want to make sure I have enough room for this on there, so I can even go a little bit more here. So I'm going to tear this. So the other thing she did is I had a chocolate bar on my bedside table. I always have just a couple of squares of chocolate before I go to sleep. And while I was gone, she got that chocolate bar and ate the whole chocolate bar. And I know they say chocolate is not good for dogs, but thank goodness she didn't have any ill effect from it. Oh, and then the other thing, oh, she was really a little stinker. She got into my trash bin here underneath my craft desk and pulled out a bunch of papers and had bits of paper all over the house. So I scolded her for it, showed her the wooden piece. I don't know, you don't know if they understand or not. But I feel like I can't trust her in the house at night while I'm asleep. So I've been back putting her in the crate to sleep at night. And she's been kind of whining. She's like, she doesn't understand, okay, that looks good like that. And I'm sorry for the shadow. I don't know what's happening. That's never been like that before in my room. Let me stop the camera and see what's going on. So I'm not sure what was going on with the lighting, but I have added this piece of paper. It's also from Medieval Mirage's kit. It's an old map. I've added that to this tag. And you may have noticed that I had originally cut out this. But if you look real close, the flowers are upside down. That bugs me. So instead, and I'll have to use this somewhere else. So instead, I've attached this piece of paper. And then this one was the other one that I had cut out. So then what you need to do is just glue it on two sides, the bottom and the side that is not the opening for whatever you're going to tuck in there. What may have happened is more time had gone by in between me trying to figure out the lighting on my video. I took my son to work, and so the sun moved in the craft room, and maybe that's why we don't see that big shadow now. Okay, so those are ready to go. And then remember I said I wanted an image on there, and I pretty much had decided that image. These are some of the images from Medieval's kit, and I use my scan and cut to cut them out. I think that's a little bit too big. Like I said, I think this one is the best. But what I want to do now is add a little bit more of an embellishment on it. And I've got some little bitty pearls here. And I thought they looked pretty. So let's pull some out. I've got all different sizes. These, a lot of them are from my Stampin' Up! Days. And then some I may have gotten at Michael's or one of those stores. So I want some really, really tiny ones too. These are for the middle, but I know I've got some tiny ones here, these ones right here, for the other side. So I'm going to put all of these off to the side. What I do for these is I just take a little bit of my art glitter glue and I just dab a little bit where the pearl is. Now these have adhesive backing already, but I don't trust them. So let's just take these bigger ones here. And I learned this little trick when I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator card maker. If you just take your scissors and slide them underneath those little pearls, then you can pick them up. I do also have this. It's called a jewel picker, and it works sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't release them. So I found this to be a little bit better. You just take your scissors right underneath there. Now you may get a little bit of glue on your scissors, so you may have to clean them off. After you're done with all of this. So those are the bigger ones, and now I'm going to bring in and put tiny little ones. To me, it's these type of small little details in a journal that make it that much more special. And so it's fun to do them. Alrighty, so let's come in here. And we just lay them down. So anyway, that's the story about my little girl and her shenanigans in the middle of the night. and she was doing so good. She's 9 months old, and I thought, I belong to a Facebook group of, she's a soft-coated Wheaten Terrier, and there was a lot of people on that Facebook group that were talking about their Wheatens and the trouble they get into, and I was like feeling, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky with her. She's been such a good little girl, and she is a good little girl, but that new little issue with the travel tree really was upsetting to me. I think she knows when I'm talking about her. Alrighty, so we're going to leave that to dry. As I was deciding about putting this here, I thought I would like some book page behind it. And you guys have seen me do this before, where I take book page, I cut it out, or I tear it into pieces that I might use. I use two different products interchangeably. It just kind of depends on which one I grab. One is the golden iridescent gold fine paint, and then the other one I've used, and that's what I used on these, is this, it's called Vegas Gold, and that is the brand right there. It's a Japanese brand. So I use those interchangeably, and I just take a paintbrush and pick up a piece and then just paint the edges. So I'm going to put these off to the side for them to finish drying. The next thing you want to do for this tag is to find an image where the lady or whatever image you want is going to peek out from the pocket. And I went through the kit and I found this image and I thought it worked perfect. So what I'm going to do is just trim off a tiny bit of the edge. And I do this whenever I am backing images, because this is just my plain old hammer mill, well, not plain old, but hammer mill, kind of a lightweight paper. And so what I do is I still leave a border, so when I use my glue stick, I make sure that the glue is all the way to the edge, so that when I cut it out, there is no edge of the thing that I'm gluing down that is going to lift up. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I lay that down there, then I make sure there is glue all the way to the edge. And then when I cut it out, none of it will lift up. So let's just go across here. And hopefully this image and tag will fit in that small little pocket well. My cutting's not going so perfect. If I was smart, I would pull in my trimmer and use that, so I'd make sure I had a straight edge, but I'm already doing the scissors, so we're going to go continue with this. Okay, that should be good enough. And let's just see how that fits in there. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. What I might do I was going to maybe trim it off the bottom, but I really don't want to. But I think I will. I am going to trim this so that it fits down in there a little bit better. And then you can see this writing here better. And I can save this for adding on somewhere else. So that fit perfectly. So then I'm going to ink around it. You see how that just comes to life there when you ink? And I do a little bit on the back. And actually what I might do is I'm thinking about rounding the corner a little bit, because the corner is rounded up here. And I just need to do a really small corner because this is a small image. And I think that's good enough there. So then you kind of have to re-ink a little bit. And that just fits perfectly in there. And then I want to bring in this European hole punch and just punch a hole there. And then I want to put some ribbon there. Now, because I've got some pink here, I want a little bit of pink here. I am going to put the camera on hold while I go search for it, and I'll be right back. As I went over to look for ribbon, I saw my fabrics, and I've kind of gone through them, and I think this would look nice because it's all different kinds of directions. So we're going to grab that. You guys have seen me before that I put my fabrics in these little pouches and label them with, you know, the color schemes so I can see what I have. And we're just going to do a little snip here and tear it. And then we're just going to tie it in here. Hopefully this will look okay. It may be a little bit long, but I can trim it if I need to. Yeah, that definitely is pretty long. So I'm gonna, so I don't waste any of the fabric, I'm gonna untie it and make it a little bit shorter before I tie it up. So let's just bring that like that. There we go. And then tie it in a knot. And as I bring it through, I'm going to twist it so that the fabric shows in the front. You have to be careful because this is not, you know, I've only have it on my heavyweight card, my heavyweight paper, not thick cardstock. So if you're not careful, you can tear into that, but I think that's going to be okay. And then we'll just snip this way a little bit. Oh, I like the way that looks. Yeah, that looks great. So we're going to set that over to the side, and work on this other one where we're going to put the feather. And let me grab my all of my pieces of my golden book page, and just going to slide them off here. They're all dry. I have the ceiling fan going. And another little organization tip, I have a little pouch here that I put them in. And so I will save the bigger ones for different projects. So I'm just going to pull those off to the side. That would maybe be okay. The really wide ones, I'm going to hold off, like I said, and just put them in this pouch, kind of like that, kind of like that. Too wide, too wide. I'm going to bring in the taller ones. I do like the way that looks, so I may have to cut that down. And then these are just ready to go as you need them in. There's a small piece. These are just ready to go as you need them in, for embellishments on journals. And this is all on French book page. So I probably have way, way more than I need, but like Rachel says, we need to audition. And so like I said, all the ones that have gold on them are in that little pouch. So let's decide on a feather. That blue one looks good. The pink one looks good. That's a little bit too small. I'm going to set that over to the side, and that one would be okay too. So let's just come in and I think I need something tall. Let's go up here like this, maybe like that. Not too bad. I could even bring in another piece over here. That doesn't look too bad. Too big. Too big. Too big. Here was another piece, and it's a little bit darker paper. And where let's see, where I'm going to glue it down, I could tear it a little bit. No, I don't want to waste that big piece. This kind of fit. Because if I go right to there, and then I add that, I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing is the script does not have to be on the right, you know, the upper right side. This is the exact same book. I'm going to do that. That's good enough. So that's perfect. And I have a lot left over for another project. So let me bring in a glue sheet, and we're going to just glue those down. Actually, it's not the same book page, but close enough. I just think, especially when you're working like this is a Marie Antoinette journal, French journal, you want things to be very royal looking, regal looking. So that's why I like the gold. Plus, I just like sparkles. Just right up to that edge there. And then for the lady here, I do need to use my 3-in-1, my Beacon's 3-in-1 glue. Because it would be too hard to put a glue stick on that, on this back, because there's so much of a, I just had to stop and think, did I have my microphone on? Because there's so much of a dimension with those pearls. So now we can just bring this in right there. And that is perfect. Love that. Doesn't that look great, you guys? Well, that's just falling over like crazy. Okay, now let's go back to our feathers. See which one looks the best in here. I'm thinking that blue is going to blend in too much, that I maybe need the pink. Yep, that's it right there. So that is that little tag. You could also put another little tag in there like I did here. This little tag. Let's see, do we need any more there? And remember, like I said, I only need one feather for the journal. And so I don't need to make more than these. And let me show you the other one that I did. This one is more masculine. I took this image of this gentleman from the kit and laid him over that digital. I added the word magnificent because yes, he looks magnificent, and added some gold trim here. And so that is my video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some inspiration. And until next Monday or my next Quick Tip Thursday, I'll see you guys later. Thanks and bye-bye.